Hello everyone and welcome to CNB. A very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from all of us at NDTV and the Car and Bike Show team. Thanks for joining us for this brand new episode. It's also a special one, our Christmas New Year special, very aptly coming to you from here, the Winter Wonderland in Iceland. Yes, it's the first time we brought you here and it's for a nice exclusive review of the Discovery Sport. You've got a glimpse of the car already. You've also had little bits of it we've shared with you from the Paris Motor Show, and so you know what it looks like, you know some of the new features, but how does it drive? Well, this is the kind of place you really get to test the car, and I'm looking forward to bringing all of that to you starting now.
The car that will be crucial for Land Rover as it looks to up its game in 2015. Yes, this is a volumes model and I am in Iceland to test it. It's the land of undulating hills, volcanoes, fjords and lava rock. But wait, the Iceland I landed in was, well, a bit icier. And the day started very dark, though not very early.
Get to nicely drift things up here on the ice, and well, that's what it is. It's not really just snow anymore. It's nicely compacted down overnight and it has a nice icy feel to it, the road surface. The good part was that we got a little bit of an introduction to all of this last night, because when we landed into Reykjavik, we actually drove to the hotel a couple of hours. So got used to the conditions, got used to the darkness as well, and can't wait for the day to unfold ahead of me.
Yes, it's a special day, all right. We have the first and exclusive review of this car for you. The Discovery Sport is built on a modified Range Rover Evoque platform. 20% of its structure is made of high-strength boron steel. That's more than any Land Rover, and many of the Land Rover staples on it have been updated.
There's absolutely perfect conditions to check out the new updated terrain response system, especially the grass, gravel, snow setting. Now, for the most part, it is just snow, but we're driving over some gravelly bits as well, and every now and then it gets exposed. You can feel a little crunch of that gravel beneath the wheels, and it's lava gravel, so it's a little bit different in its texture, I'm told. For the most part, though, like I said, it is snow. The quick thing I want to mention here, though, is that unlike the Range Rover family, where the terrain response system also has the auto setting, on this car, it's not available. So what you have is just the everyday function. You've got the mud and ruts, you've got the grass, gravel, snow or sand. So you've got to select that. The car won't do it for you.
Land Rover says the car's hill descent control system is now 3 times faster than before, and all variants feature start-stop as standard. We drove far into the Icelandic countryside, and let me tell you, it was stunning. We also got lucky as it was getting fairly bright and wasn't snowing anymore.
Now don't be fooled by this. It looks nice and calm and it's gotten nice and bright as well, but it's still about -8 or 9 degrees. And yeah, the sun's just starting to come out over the horizon there behind me. It's 12 noon, so well, it's a nice time for it to come up, isn't it? But the point about not being fooled by the conditions around me, well, that's something that we've been warned about right since the minute we got here. They say that the weather could turn on you any second, and last night we got a sense of that, because right now you can see the road that we're on, but there are times when it completely disappears on you, and which is why it's very crucial to keep a track of these things. These markers are placed along the road every few meters, and they're reflective. They're also nice and yellow. The headlamp always catches them, even if there's snow getting thrown around and whipped around you. You keep getting a sense of where you have to go by looking at those, and which is why, by law here in Iceland, when you're driving, you have to keep your headlights on, not just the daytime running lights, but your headlights and it doesn't matter what time of the day or night, and that's also relative because at this time of the year, you only get about 4 hours of daylight.
The cabin of the Discovery Sport is a lot roomier than the Freelander 2's. The design is sharp, and while the material quality is good, it doesn't exude a luxurious feel. And that's intentional, as this is the versatile workhorse. Luxury is the preserve of the Range Rover family. The dash has a touchscreen infotainment system, and all the buttons and switches are easy to read and use. The Discovery Sport has also got the third row of seats which fold up and down easily, and even the second row can be folded for additional cargo needs.
The ground clearance on this vehicle is 212 millimeters, which Land Rover says is best in class, and also you got a 600 millimeter wading capability. Again, the company says that is the best in the segment. So let's put that claim to the test. We've got the car and we've got a little river back there. Let's go do this.
Oh, this is the fun stuff. The car has an axle articulation of 320 millimeters, and like all Land Rovers, this car also has the appropriate approach angle of 25 degrees and a departure angle of 31 degrees to afford better climbing and wading capabilities than its rivals.
Now this car does have sport at the end of its name, which means that it promises to be substantially different in how it drives compared to the Freelander 2 especially. But we're not going to be testing that on any kind of smooth tarmac today, that's for sure. You can see that, right? What I can tell you though is that we've been riding on these special studded tires. It does change the ride quality somewhat. It becomes a little noisier and rumblier too. They're not too bad in the cabin, but you need these tires. Trust me, in these kind of conditions, they become a huge necessity.
The Discovery Sport has received a 5-star Euro NCAP crash rating, and besides a whole host of standard safety equipment on board, it also has a pedestrian airbag. It is available in a 235 bhp 2-litre petrol variant, but the car with me is the one that we will get for sure, the 2.2-litre SD4 diesel with 186 bhp. The same block is available with a slightly more fuel-efficient 147 bhp version. That's the 2.2 TD4. Now my car had the optional 9-speed auto box. The car drives very well and handling is assured and solid. The 9-speed gearbox also works well, though I would be curious to get my hands on the 6-speed manual too. Out here on the snow, traction has been pretty good, and yes, terrain response has been kicking in all through.
The clamshell bonnet, the typical grille up front, and also a very typical Land Rover kind of headlamp signature. Now, all of this was too much like the Evoque for some people. The first time we saw the Discovery Sport, there was some criticism that, hang on, like Audi, are all these SUVs now starting to look too much like each other? Having spent some time with the car today, I'm glad to tell you that a little bit of its individuality does come to the fore now. It does have a different stance. We've been seeing a lot of them on the road, some of the other guys who've been driving them. So it does have its own characteristic. And it's, of course, this particular element back here which really is different to the rest. It's not straight like the old Discovery. It doesn't have anything to do with the Freelander either. And it kind of rides high at the back too, so it gives it a sense of sportiness, agility, and a very different kind of profile to some of the other cars which do tend to look a little straighter and therefore a little bit bigger too.
The car will arrive in India only around August 2015. It is likely to arrive in its 2.2-litre SD4 Avatar and will be made at the JLR plant in Pune, and will primarily take on the Audi Q5 and BMW X3 besides the Mercedes-Benz ML250. Expect pricing in the 40 to 45 lakh rupee territory.